Hi, how you doing? I'm not hiding. I just thought people might be a bit bored of seeing my face, so something different. This is basically my view. Oh, I want to speak about addiction. It seems to me that things that we're addicted to maybe carry the heaviest burden, the heaviest sort of shame and guilt, because our soul knows what's beneficial and it knows what self harm is and it knows that we know. I realised the foundation of my addictions was twofold. I learned that sugar, for example, because it was sugar when I was very little, because let's face it, that shit gets shoveled into children to pacify them, or because everybody does it, or because people don't respect health, or many reasons. But it's poison, isn't it, at the end of the day? But it's a stimulant, and stimulants trigger us into being in a different state of being. They excite our nerves, which can bring on spontaneous behavior and creativity. But also, addictions are a defense mechanism. They put us into a space which is not conducive with the normal anxiety that we're used to because of all the chaos that might surround us. My relationship with tobacco has been the most difficult relationship out of all of the connections I've had in my life. Smoking, for me, felt like a perverse way to get back at people who didn't love me by actively not loving myself, actively seeking destruction. And it hasn't just been tobacco, it used to be many things. Just so happens that these substances supported me in a way that no other human could during the darkest moments of my life. They have been alloys, even if they might be looked upon as poisons. It doesn't matter what the substances were. But I will say this, ketamine, and a lot of people have a problem with this because it's not natural or it's synthesized or ketamine softened my perception of death. It held my hand as I walked through the underworld because it put my brain in a mode of operation which was out of reach of any of the constructs which keep us twisted in our own delusion. I see how it can be used to treat depression. But as with anything, you have to treat it with respect. And ketamine came into my experience when I was in full blown nihilism mode. I didn't care. And it provided me with what I could only call spiritual experiences when I wasn't remotely interested in anything of that nature. I saw death, I sensed it, I felt it. Once I was in a room of people, we'd been out dancing and probably taking pills and stuff. And we was at someone's house and everyone was taking ketamine. And the girl next to me had taken it for the first time. And I could hear her crying and I looked and I just saw a skeleton. But addiction is what I'm here to talk about. Because addiction is merely just reliance on anything outside of our own being to help us avoid what is energetically, physically, emotionally. The difficulty with that is we're setting ourselves up into a nightmare, aren't we? Because either, well, all of these things are possibilities, right? We just have to keep taking it in increasing amounts to the point where we get past the point of no return and become a zombie. Or we rely on it, but we kid ourselves that we only take it of an evening or something. And then all of a sudden the supply stops and then we panic. And then eventually when it comes back into our experience, we start doing it more. We have to draw the line somewhere in our life. For me, I've been finding out what it means to be a father to a really, really scared little boy. Knowing when to say no, or knowing when to just watch. If we start to see ourselves as that little child, then we'll understand that we can't poison children. And if we ever want to be fully in touch with that child within, then we have to stop trying to kill him or her. What it is for the most part is a childhood full of absorbing other people's realities. The things we are addicted to are the shackles that keep us in the system of control. You are enough as you are. We don't need crutches or masks or personas. We don't need props or anything can be weaponized against our being. That is the natural state of being. If we're not careful, we will be wise to draw a list of what is good and what is bad. You draw a little table with a dividing line and then try and stick as close to that dividing line as possible because that's above good or bad. Duality is Dark and light, negative, positive, good, bad. We know this. So why are we trying so hard to just be on the good team? That's what creates the resistance. Whilst we are in the realm of duality, we are duality. That's why we've been called to understand the power of three, the Trinity, the Triality. Light is information, it's what is. Darkness is lack of information, it's what is not. But beingness isn't about anything. So it's neither and both. The grey path is the observer. We're here to watch. We're here to be. Life is a movie with the projector and the screen and the operator and the only man that's in there watching the film with his feet up and his slippers on. So what film do you want to watch? Misery is infectious, but so is love. Misery is not scary though. Misery is comfortable. Love. Love is a sledgehammer to the rib cage. And you have to be willing to put your hands behind your back